Hey there, modern math teacher. So let's get to it. Do you know that moment when it's like you've spent your whole weekend grading and like really actually grading, not just like right, wrong, right, wrong. You've gone through, you've left some comments, you've really wanted to give some good feedback on these. You've explained maybe where their thinking went wrong, and you give everything back to your students then, like Monday morning, right? And your students look at the grade maybe for a second and then stuff it in the folder or ask if they can recycle it. Okay. So that is just so frustrating. And that's something I was noticing as I was working on my national board certification these past few weeks with the component I was working on. Guys, it's not you. The feedback was good. I promise you. Like the feedback I gave was good. The feedback you're giving your students is good. It's just that it was honestly, it seems like it's too late. Okay. And honestly, like even when the timing is right, and I would take these things home, I would write all over them and give them back literally the next time I saw them, right? So that it was as fresh in their minds as it could be. But even if it's right and you've written something like genuinely different for all 28 of these kids, really? Did you though? Like some of those comments, like you basically copy and pasted your own handwriting, okay? And so like we've got a problem here. That's a scale problem. There that's what we're going to talk about today. Like there's no way to give really good authentic feedback to the 180 students that you probably have in a timely manner by yourself without burning out. So, today, you guys, that's what we're talking about today. Hey, friends, this week on the Modern Math Teacher Podcast, we're talking all about using AI for assessment and feedback. And honestly, these are the things that I get asked about a lot in my trainings. But because you would really need to come to me with some like work to work on, it makes it a little bit more difficult to cover. So that's why we're talking about it today. And we're talking about using this not to replace like your judgment or anything, but to make sure that your judgment actually reaches your students where they can still do something about it. So if you're up for it, let's do this. Now, before I give you guys like a list of tools that I know and love, I want to give you guys a quick mindset shift, okay? Because I know some of you are sitting there feeling a little weird about using AI to help with feedback, and that's totally fair, okay? Like it's somehow less yours if maybe AI helped write it, but here's how I want you to think about this, okay? Your teacher judgment is not the bottleneck. It's just not. Time is the bottleneck. Scale is the bottleneck. AI is going to remove those bottlenecks so that your judgment, your knowledge of your students, your standards, your classroom, your expertise can actually get to kids faster and more specifically than it ever could when it was just you and your favorite red flare pen at 10 p.m. on a Sunday night. Okay. This isn't cheating the system, it's good teaching, it's sustainable practices that are going to keep you in the game longer. Okay. We talked back in episode 160 about how AI should be amplifying your thinking, not killing it, right? Same principles apply here. You're not outsourcing your teaching practices, you're outsourcing the bottleneck. Okay, so now let's dive into the tools, okay? All right, I'm going to walk you through some of the tools that I actually use as a teacher on the regular. Not just a list that I pulled from like somebody else's blog post, but stuff I actually use in front of my real students in a real math classroom. And I'm organizing them by what problem they solve for me. So, first up, you have to have your favorite LLM, whether that is Chat or Claude or Gemini. Pick one, stick with it, let it be your bestie forever. Okay. So I'm using typically ChatGPT for this. And if you ever have open-ended tasks like written reflections or anything where your students are really explaining the thinking in their words, this is a good starting point for you. Here's what I like to do. I like to write a prompt that gives AI the learning target, that's essential, the assignment context, and the student's sample response. And then I can ask it to give feedback that's specific to that student's work, tied to the goal, and written in a tone that's encouraging but honest. It's not just fluffy, like, great job, not a paragraph of nothing, but it's really specific, actionable feedback. Okay. So here is a rough prompt you can steal. You're a high school math teacher giving feedback on a student's written explanation. The learning goal is blank. Insert your learning goal here. Okay. Here is the student's sample response, and then put in one of their responses. Give 2 to 3 sentences of specific feedback that identifies what they did well and one concrete thing they should revise or clarify. Keep the tone warm but direct. Okay. So I like to do this. You can get a general sense if you're seeing like a general trend with your students, put a couple of those in there, see what you get back. Okay. You're still going to want to read what the AI tool is going to generate, especially in math, right? Because sometimes a student's wrong answer is actually revealing something really important about their thinking. And the AI can't necessarily catch that, right? It's your expertise we're amplifying here. We're just removing this bottleneck. But a first draft of feedback, this is going to save you a lot of time. And it means that every student has the opportunity to get something more specific instead of just a check mark and a smiley face. And trust me, friend, I have been known to do those when I'm getting to, papers 120 through 180. That's just the way it is. Okay. Okay. Here's a game-changing tool that I teach inside of my series with the Bureau of Ed, and this is Snorkl. This is probably everybody's favorite section when we do this. Snorkl is fantastic for in-the-moment math thinking. Okay. It is for sure one of my favorite tools for math specifically, and here's why. Your students get to explain their thinking either out loud, in writing, they can type it, they can use their finger and like draw stuff on the screen, whatever. And Snorkel's AI feedback gives them that feedback immediately. Like not the next day, not after you've had a chance to grade, right then. It tells them if they're correct or incorrect and it assesses the level of their thinking. And you guys, when I tell you that I have never seen a student try more times to get a level 4 explanation in my entire teaching career, right? 15 years than the first time I introduced Snorkel into my classroom. I cannot overemphasize what an amazing tool this is. Okay. Um, in math, the how matters as much as the what. So a student can get the right answer for the wrong reason, and a student can get the wrong answer and still be thinking really well. And Snorkel does a great job of catching that nuance because it's responding to the student's explanation of their process, not just their final answer. You guys, this is going to generate so much rich conversation in your classroom where your students are going to be comparing their answers. I got a 2, you got a 3, I'm wrong, you're right. And they're talking about it and they're like, well, what did you say in yours? Well, I said the same thing. I said amplitude too. What do you mean? Why is mine different from yours? And the rich dialogue and the natural engagement with the vocab for math that comes out is phenomenal. This is my number one tool for students to use to explain their reasoning and get immediate feedback. And then as me, it's incredible. This is huge for formative assessment, right? You can use it with like any sort of exit ticket or cool down or mid-lesson check or warm up, whatever it is that you want. Any moment where you want to know where your students specifically actually are. There we go. Before you move on. It's just hands down for the win. And I believe you can get 20 of them for free. Okay. So go check that out. Snorkl. Find it. I know I'm excited because it's aligned to illustrative math version 360, and that is what my school is using these days. We piloted it this year, and we are formally looking to adopt. So I'm very excited to identify the 20 aspects that I want to make sure my students get their specific feedback on for next year. Okay. All right, let's go to another tool. Another tool I've been using recently is Kiddom. Again, I'm using it with illustrative math. And it's got AI feedback right inside of it, and it can give that information, like the grade and everything, right back to your LMS. So if you are looking for something that will talk to your Google Classroom, your Canvas, your Schoology, something like that, Kiddom works for that. I believe it is a paid partnership that we have with them, so that's just something to think about. But Kiddom does a really nice job of like managing assignments, and the AI feedback is built right into it. So you don't have to go to another tab, copy, paste, set anything up. It just lives where your assignment already lives. And you see this cute little robot that shows you that it's going to be giving AI feedback. And when you set up the assignment, you can like look at what it might be saying and what it thinks the target answers are. You can agree, you can kind of tweak it from there. It's pretty cool. It's great for keeping your feedback consistently consistent and like tied directly to the assignment, that the students are working on. And because it's connected to your grade book or your LMS, then it just kind of keeps everything nice in one place, which honestly, like, is half the battle, right? When it comes to actually using feedback tools consistently, any tech tool, really, if they all don't talk to each other and play nicely together, you're less likely to use it. Okay. Another tool that I know and love is Brisk. this one. I used it more last year than I found myself using it this year, but it is still a good go-to. It's a Google extension that you can get. And if you are using rubrics and if you're doing like any kind of like mastery-based grading, you might be, right? Brisk is worth your time investing in. It does a really great job. You can have it give rubric specific feedback. You can have it give glow and grows. It's just really nice that way. Okay. And here's the thing about rubric feedback. In theory, rubrics make grading faster and more consistent, right? But in practice, you still end up writing slightly different versions of the same comment 25 to 180 times because each student hit a slightly different part of that rubric, okay? And Brisk does an amazing job of taking your rubric, generating, there we go, personalized comments for each student based on where their work actually lands in the rubric. It is consistent, it's specific, it doesn't sound like a robot wrote it, which is really nice, and, like, that's the bar we're all trying to clear. And if you are using AI with your students, please be real with them. I was letting my students know that I used AI feedback for them when they did their Kiddom assignments, and they said that that made a big difference in how they read it, because it says, like, "Your teacher commented," and they were like, "Ms. Moore, that didn't sound like you," and I was like, "Oh, remember, we're trying this tool, and we're using their AI features, so any feedback is from them. I wanna know how good that feedback is. You guys can talk to me and engage in a dialogue with that about me." Okay. So if you are using AI, also always just be transparent with them. All right, you guys. So whew, here we go. Let's be real for a second, right? Because that's just what we do on the Modern Math Teacher podcast. None of these tools are going to replace your eyes on your students' work. It's not, especially in math, right? Because here's the thing, a student who writes, "I multiplied both sides by 2 when they should have divided," is telling you something really important about their understanding and their misconceptions. And an AI might give them feedback that sounds reasonable on the surface, but actually misses that misconception, right? So use these tools to handle the volume, right? Use them to make sure every student gets something specific and timely. But remember, you are the teacher. You are the expert. You still need to know your students and you still need to catch the things that matter. Okay. So think of it like this, I guess. AI is going to get the feedback out of your head and onto their desks or onto their computers faster than you can. Okay. What you do with that, though, the conversations, the reteaching, the, "Hey, I noticed this is on your paper. Can we talk about that for a minute?" That's all still you, and that will always be you. So, here's what I would like for you to do this week, or maybe not this week. I know we are rapidly approaching spring break season. This is coming out the Tuesday before my spring break, so I'm gonna pick this up again in April with my feedback, right? But anyways, here's what I want for you to do as your call to action from this episode. Pick one tool from today's episode and try it on your next assignment. Try it for sometime within the next week. Not all four, just one of them, okay? If you do a lot of open-ended and written work, start with ChatGPT or a Claude prompt or Brisk, right? Brisk is really good if you've got a rubric that goes with it. If you want instant feedback on formative feedback in math, try Snorkl. Hands down, everyone's favorite in my full day trainings. And side note, my next and last training of the year is April 1st. So if you have not ever signed up for an AI training with me through the Bureau of Educational Research, I will link that in the show notes so that you can come and experience all sorts of cool tools with me and a great group of teachers together. Okay. If you are already in the Kiddom system, just try like using the AI feedback and seeing what it does and getting feedback from your students. Okay. So remember, one tool, one assignment, just see what happens. And if you try something and it surprises you, good or bad, I want to hear about it. Come find me on Instagram at more than just X and tell me what you did and how it went. I personally read everything. All right, guys, next week, episode 163. Can you even imagine? We're like darn near 200 at this point. I've got a guest joining me to talk about something that I think is going to hit really close to home for you guys. It's what AI is actually revealing about our classrooms and why students are reaching for it in the first place. It's a really good conversation. I think it's going to reframe some things for you. So make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss it. All right, guys, that's it for this episode. Until next time, keep trying new things. Keep your sanity as we're looking forward to spring break. And as always, you guys, keep it real.